Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Today let me show you how you can use a personal automation shortcut to get settings on your iPhone to change, but only when you're in one app. MACMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 800 supporters. Go to MACMOST.com/Patreon. There you can read more about the Patreon campaign, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. Now suppose there's an app on your iPhone that you have trouble using unless you adjust some settings, like maybe making the contrast greater or changing the font size. But you don't want to change this for your entire iPhone. You just want this one app to behave differently. Well, you can use the Shortcuts app to create a personal automation that will change a setting on your iPhone whenever you launch an app and change it back when you leave the app. So as an example, let's look at the Calendar app. If you go into the Calendar app, you may think the fonts are too small on your iPhone and you would like to make them bigger. You could do this by going to the Settings app and in there go to Accessibility and then under Vision go to Display and Text Size. Here you can turn on larger text and you can see it's increased here in the Settings app. Then when you go to the Calendar app you can see everything looks a lot bigger. But now all the fonts and all sorts of different apps are bigger. Let's say you just want to do it for the Calendar app. So let's switch it back to the normal size. And let's go into the Shortcuts app. And here I'm going to click on Automations at the bottom and I'm going to create a personal automation. Now I'm going to set this personal automation to be triggered whenever an app is opened. So let's choose the app. And I can choose from all the apps I have installed. In this case we'll choose Calendar. And we're going to set it to is opened. Then next we're going to choose the actions. So I'm going to add an action here and now I can search for different actions. So let's search for the text size change there in settings. And you can see here if I look through when I search for text with the settings icon next to it, set text size. I'll select that. It's set to set text size to extra small. That's not what we want. We want to go and make it extra, extra, extra large. That's the top setting there. And now we're going to do next. And you can see here it's set to when calendar is opened, do set the text size, and ask before running. No, we don't want it to ask. We just want it to do it automatically. So let's test this out. I'll tap done there and let's go home. And now you can see the text is normal size, but when I go into the Calendar app it changes it automatically to the larger size. The only problem is when I go back home it's still set to the larger size. So let's go in and add another shortcut. So in the Shortcuts app here I'll add another personal automation and I'm going to set this also for app. Choose the app and I'm going to choose Calendar again, but this time when it's closed, and turn off is opened. And here I'll add an action. I'll search for that same thing. So that was set text. And you can see it appears right there. And I can go in and have it go to default. So now when the calendar is closed it'll set the text size back to default. I can turn off ask before running and done. So now I have two things here. When calendar is closed it's going to set the text size to default. When it's open it sets it to that extra, extra, extra large. So let's go back into Calendar now. Everything is still the large text size from when we had it set before. So I go into Calendar, but this time when I leave Calendar it's going to set everything back. You could see it jump there at the last second. So now every time we go into the Calendar app everything gets big, and every time we go back everything gets small again. That's not all we can do. We can do a lot more. If we go into the Shortcuts app here I can go back in to when calendar is opened here and I can add more things here to do. So I can use plus here and for instance I can search for contrast and you can see set increase contrast. So some apps look better with increased contrast. You can have that automatically happen. I could also invert the colors if I want. I could go and search for colors and instead of classic invert I'm going to do smart invert. So it won't invert photos and things. So this is going to set the text size to really big and turn on smart invert. Now I'll go back here, done, and I'll change the when closed to add the same thing except turning off Smart Invert. So I'll switch that to off. So now you can see when calendar is closed, text size and set Smart Invert, and the same thing when it's opened. And now let's test this out. If I go into the calendar app, there it goes. Text gets large and it inverts. When I exit the calendar app, everything goes back to normal. Plus, you don't have to do this for each individual app. If you like these settings and you want to have it for several apps, you could go in here and notice under when calendar is opened, I can go back in here. Under app I can tap there and I can add another app. So let's also have that happen in the Contacts app. I'll add it to the Contacts app there. And now it says any of 2 apps. And I'll do the same thing for when it's opened. I'll change from calendar to also add Contacts. And now the same thing will happen when we launch the Contacts app. You can see text gets bigger, it inverts, but when I go back home, you can see everything sets back. So you can continue to go in here, add new apps to this list, add new actions to be performed under Do, or add a new pair of actions, have it do different things like maybe increase the contrast, but when other apps are run. I tried this out on a couple different iPhones, and one of the things I did notice was that it works much better on newer iPhones. On my iPhone 11 Pro Max, for instance, it kind of happens instantly. Whereas an iPhone a couple years older than that, you could see how it took like a second for it to make all those adjustments. So try this out and play around with it. The shortcut is basically exactly the same as you going into settings manually and changing these settings. There's no magic to it. So it's easy to play around with it. If you make a mistake, it's easy to go into settings and change those things back to be exactly as you want them. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.